Can you be a good consultant if you, and then we'll dig into this word a little bit more in a second, but can you be a good consultant in your opinion if you don't truly care about people, the person that you're speaking to?
Well, I guess it all depends upon how we're going to evaluate what the outcomes are of the relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
well, let me do this, James.
Because there's lots of people that talk to other people, and then those people like got more fit.
Yeah.
That happens a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
And these could be like horrible individuals.
Yeah, for sure.
And on the extreme end of not caring.
Yeah.
Like really not good people.
Can I qualify what caring means?
Yeah, for sure.
In my head when I say that, to simplify that term, because it's a big one, let's just say caring just means that you want what is truly best for that other person. Can you be a good consultant if you don't truly want what's best for that other person? You mentioned this last week, but you might just want what's best for you vocationally, professionally.
I think you can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Explain that.
Yeah, I think it happens, because remember, this is what I think happens a lot in the fitness industry. Mm-hmm. It happens a lot, and it's not, no one goes around with a Geiger miter, whatever that thing is that measures radiation.
Yeah.
You know, no one goes around with that being like, oh, that guy really doesn't care, you know? And the client still, quote unquote, perseveres. Or they still move forward, or they still like, oh, I'm glad you were just standing there today while I did 9 reps on my own. I mean, did they care? They didn't really care, but the person, there's something that went on there that still moved things forward.
Yeah.
So that's where in the fitness industry, it happens all the time.
Yeah, but I guess I'm asking a different question though. Okay. Like when I say like, and maybe I need to qualify what the heck a good consultant is, right? Like, because I think that.
And also I'm stuck on how do we evaluate outcomes, right? Like the shtick that I always go on, like, well, what do you mean by success?
Yeah.
Do you mean that person has a different trainer in a year? Mm-hmm. Well, then your whole project was a failure. Your whole attempt was a failure at helping that person. So so if you're saying if you're going to evaluate that, i.e. the definition of long-term success is like that person. Here's another way to frame it. So let's flip it and say, well, with James, what do you think caring results in? And so I would say that caring results in learning consistently on the coach's end, and the client becomes autonomous. Mm-hmm. If that's our definition of the outcome, then I would say you cannot be uncaring as a coach and have success.
Yep. Well, I just think about what you
see how I qualified outcomes, right?
Yeah, because you defined a coach last month. Yeah. So I don't know if you remember what you said. So, but you said, hey, a coach to me is someone that simply pushes someone to be better than they are today. Yeah. Right. It's like that's a good coach. Yeah. So we got to connect all of those.
Be all that you can be.
Yeah. Be all that you can be. Oh, that takes me back. But that's, if we, and that's why definitions are important, right? What does caring actually mean? What does success actually mean? What is a good coach? Mm-hmm. So when I connect those dots, and this is just fresh in my mind because we had a conversation about caring yesterday. Okay. And I don't think that someone could be a good coach / consultant, just because we're talking about consulting right now, if you don't actually care about the other person. Because, and I think you could still get success with that person, like, and you just mentioned it, right? It's like the person's there doing bench press and you're just watching them and they see success because they were going to see success anyway. Or maybe you gave them the recipe and they cooked that recipe up and, it's on you, or you can kind of like give yourself a high five because you were a part of that process. But I think that's, when we start to really dig into consultation, life coach, that's a big title, right? Like I think I think a lot of people get like,
people know what it means.
Yeah, people
when
get
I say it.
Yeah, people get like a different feeling when they hear that. But I like it. Like I'm not saying that's
behavior consultant.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I don't know if that's any better.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's just like, we would just say a coach at the end of the day. But then you have to define what the heck a coach is and what the roles are. But when people hear that, they're just like, oh no, that's outside of my lane. That's outside of my scope. And it's like, it's outside of your scope to care about people and push them to be better than they are today. Yeah. But when you put it that way, I think coaches are like, oh, okay, that makes sense. I get that. Yeah. So yeah, just something that was top of mind, just like really digging into like the attributes of a good consulter and how, because I think that's important when we have conversations with coaches specifically, and they're like, well, how do I get good at this?
Yeah.
Like, you know, I think there's the normal like experience, you got to do it a bunch. But I do think like that care piece has to be there. Do you want what's best for that other person? Are you actually trying to push them to be better than they are today? And now it's like, how are you pushing them to be better than they are today, right? So there's a lot of bedside manner conversation and stuff like that falls into it. Hey guys, I just want to take a second to say thank you so much for watching the video, and to make sure that you don't miss videos like this in the future, go ahead and click subscribe. And I also want to make you aware that we offer a ton of free resources for coaches like you. So to access those resources, head over to CoachRx.app, go ahead and click that free resources tab and explore all of the resources that our coaches have created for you. And to take it a step further and to start implementing those resources into your own coaching practice, get started with a free 14-day trial in CoachRx. Thanks a lot, guys. We appreciate it.
And I could be understanding of the coach who asks that and has the willingness to, like, quote unquote, want to get better. But I think the whole fitness system is just challenging, and that's what I think trumps all the emotions and skills that come up around how to take care of someone. It's just the system that doesn't allow that to happen a lot.
Yeah.
Right? Because it'd be very simple, and it's so simple for me to say that. It's like, well, you know, because I'm not going to say I started out as a caring person. I started out as a professional fitness and lifestyle consultant, right? And I just like consulted with people, change behavior, change lifestyle, change exercise, all these things. And then over time, you're like, gosh, you know, the program design and the nutrition is nothing. It's not doing anything, you know, and you learn that. And so then I'm just, with experience, you know, you see people changing, and on their way out, indirectly they say, James, it had nothing to do with the program or the food. Yeah, it had to do with that conversation. So then you're like, oh man, that's the kicker, right? That's the one. So back to my point, it's easy for me to say that because that's the system that I grew up in. But today it's very difficult for that, I think. Maybe you could expand upon it, but I think it's very difficult for coaches to start out and propose this idea. Listen, we're going to sit down and have a conversation.
Yeah. We're
going to have lots of them. I don't know. There's a lot of pressure on coaches to make money and like to get more clients and to kind of do that, you know, thing.
Yeah.
That it's difficult. So I'm empathetic to the system having this like tension.
Yeah,
you know,
I think, and
coaches.
you know, this is just speaking with younger coaches specifically, which honestly, if you were to ask me like, hey, what is your assessment on young coaches today, relative to how you thought it would be looking forward 5 years back, I would actually say I'm actually pretty impressed with them. But our sample size and who we have like our hands on and reach, like it's a biased sample, so I have to understand that.
Because they're coming in with like, hey, yeah, we want to sit and talk with people.
Yeah, I want more. I want to, you know, so. But even with that subset of coaches, it's really clear that there's a discomfort with connection and conversation. There's a discomfort sitting face to face with people and having a conversation. And I'm sure there's some like correlation to like technology and social media and all that stuff. But I just find that like not an interesting conversation to have.
Yeah.
But it's really clear that there's like a discomfort because they don't have a very clear outcome going into every conversation, you know, where it's just like, I don't know, like you and I just sat down 10 minutes ago and we started a conversation, right? We didn't have anything on the agenda. I have a few things that I want to talk about specifically, but we didn't have anything on the agenda. We just started having a conversation and it felt natural and like fine, right? It was smooth. That's the piece where a lot of people are really uncomfortable with right now. Like sitting down and just starting a conversation, right? It's like, well, what do I talk about?
So I don't think it's a stretch for you. You didn't want to come out of your mouth, and we're not typecasting a generation, but we could say both of those things at the same time, right? That the thing, instead of, I shouldn't use the word typecast, but we should say things like, it makes sense that they have those issues, right? It totally makes sense. Look what we raised them into, we're responsible for that, right? They're born in the year 2000, you know, or God forbid, post 9/11. These are different humans, man. Like, and we just have to be like, that totally makes sense that you have some problems with like this initial quote unquote lack of confidence in a deeper conversation, right? It totally makes sense, right? And that's why we always try to push, well, we always did for 10 years at least, I can remember, push young coaches to just have the balls or ovaries to just be honest with people, right? Say something like that, like, gosh, you know, it's challenging for me to kind of discuss that, but do you think it's important that we bring it up, you know? And you can see coaches on the Zoom call being like, oh man, I'm so happy you gave me the go-ahead to do something like that.
And it's interesting because you hear
more
it in
empathetic to that group.
Yeah, you hear it in coaches' questions as well, right? It's like, hey, like, give me the playbook, right? Like,
yeah.
I need to have this 60-minute conversation.
Yeah.
You need to tell me what I need to ask.
Because they care.
Yeah.
That's what we're both saying. Yeah, because I think they care. They're like, I want to do the best job possible, right? And that comes back to your point of like sequestering that group that really cares. That's just their way of showing how they care.
Yeah.
Right? But this younger group, let's say 20 to 25 years of age, 20 to 30 years of age, I mean, they're just going to communicate differently.
Yep.
You know? And especially from my perspective, being 50 and like 30 years of it at the back end of it, it was just kind of normal.
Yeah.
It was normal to have that conversation, you know?
Hey guys, I just want to say thanks a lot for sticking around to the end. Our goal in this channel is to create valuable content, one video at a time, and to keep it free. So if you're not already, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. And to continue watching on our channel, go ahead and click one of the videos above. And if you want to keep going and you want to keep digging, you want to start implementing the things that we talk about here on this channel, I highly encourage you to get started with a free 14-day trial inside of CoachRx. Thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate it.